And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Giangelo's here in Boardman on 224 for the South Range Raiders show. Oh, my goodness. Week 15, dude. Yeah. Week 15. So I guess we start with a question of, what'd you do Friday?
Oh, man. I didn't sleep much.
Did you do anything fun?
Yeah. Oh, well, about 16 seconds of it were a lot of fun.
Let's cut right to the chase. I mean, we talked about it twice now this season. It is not easy to play the same team twice. Poland obviously knew what you guys were up to going into it, and for essentially four quarters, they were up to the task. And then the last 16 seconds, well, the last 2 minutes essentially, you guys came out with one of the most beautifully written 2-minute drills that I've ever seen in my 39 years of life. I know it's something you guys practice a lot every day, but not often do you get to execute, and especially on that kind of a stage. What was that like for you guys to just, I mean, I know you were coaching in it, but to kind of look back in that moment, that out-of-body experience, what was it like for you that last 2 minutes?
Yeah, you know what? It's I've actually seen a couple of the broadcasts since then. I saw your broadcast, and it was a lot more stressful watching it on the broadcast than it felt in the moment. I think our offensive staff and our kids did such a good job of just staying aware of the situation and staying poised and plugging away, as well as they ran the 2-minute drill there. There were still some bumps in the road. We had a couple penalties there, I think, and got behind the sticks once or twice. But they just kept on playing. I mean, I thought that was probably indicative of our character more than any other thing. I think our kids just showed up and they executed and just willed the ball into the end zone, which is really cool to watch.
I mean, when you watch all of that unfold, I mean, there is so much frustration throughout that game for South Range fans, I'm sure for the coaching staff, for the kids. But when you look down at the sidelines, and we had some great angles of just the sideline, nobody kind of lost their cool. The body language is a big thing, especially, what I've learned at South Range is nobody's got their hands on their hips, nobody's heads down, everybody's locked in, doing their part. I mean, for you as a leader of culture, that's got to be nice to look back on tape and say nobody's screwing around, nobody's doing anything out of pocket, and everybody's locked in on the game and trying to make sure that you guys walk away with that win. Did you have time to dissect that? And, is that something that you guys focused on and said, hey, for the last 2 minutes of the game, everybody did their job?
Yeah, I think for 48 minutes, the kids never stopped believing, which is the big thing. I think, to your point, there was some frustration that was setting in at times, and it didn't always look the best, but our kids never stopped believing or expecting to win. I think it's easy to say, hey, we believe we can win, but it's a whole different element, I think, when your kids expect to win and are aware that there's going to be some trials, some adversities that they face, and they were still, they never blinked despite all of those things, which was really impressive to me.
A lot of people aren't talking about that last defensive stand that ended with a punt, obviously. If Poland gets one more first down, they can milk the clock, the game's over. I mean, did you have any conversations with your defense saying, hey, this is the last stand?
No, I think they knew. Once we started calling the timeouts, they knew. Again, we're fortunate in that our guys have played a lot of football and been on a lot of big stages and seen a lot of situations. And they knew once we started using the timeouts up that it was do or die. At that point, we had to find a way to get a stop, and really proud of the way they bowed up and were able to do that.
Let's talk about the actual the drive itself leading to the touchdown. And then I want to talk about the last 16 seconds because I was a nervous wreck, even knowing what was going on. Because of the night before with everything that happened in the NFL, I thought it was going to translate over. You guys are driving. The run opened up the pass opens up the run. It's something you guys have been trying to do all game long and what you've done all season long. So when that started to open up, was it like Moses parting the Red Seas? Is it that situation you feel that momentum like we did in the booth?
I think we started feeling a lot of momentum just because we were able to, again, we had no timeouts. So just kind of chipping away with first downs and being able to stop the clock with first downs, and then you could kind of feel the energy from the crowd, starting to build. And actually, I think our kids did a great job on the defensive stand there. And once we got the ball back after the punt, I was really encouraged just looking around and seeing our guys in the huddle talking to each other and seeing our guys in the sideline getting the crowd up and going. You could kind of feel the momentum start to build, and at that point, I think we're really good when we've got some momentum on our side. But again, it's one thing to have momentum and to be playing inspired ball and to believe that you can win, but I think the ability to remain poised and execute in that kind of situation it was really impressive, and just a tribute to the kind of kids we have, and to the offensive staff for having those guys prepared for that.
And then you guys are down, near the 10-yard line or so, and I guess 16-yard line, and everything kind of opens up. There's coverage over here, there's coverage over here, and standing in the middle of the field, almost in slow motion, the ball goes in the air, and there's old 8-8 waiting for the football and hauls it in. A freshman, Tommy Titus, who really made his impact, certainly throughout the year, absolutely. Made his impact throughout the year, and then, etched his name in the history books, especially in Poland, I think, on Friday night. What was it like for you as a coach to kind of see that baton be passed from senior to freshman?
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably, as a coach, one of the things that was just really rewarding was that in that situation, we have a senior quarterback that's been playing forever. It feels like, he started as a sophomore, and Tristan's been around forever. And just to see that, the amount of faith and belief that he had in throwing it to a freshman in that situation, I think speaks volumes about just the connection that our guys have from the seniors all the way down to the freshmen, the amount of trust they have in one another, and the amount of mutual respect that there is, no matter what age they are. We're gonna, Tom, I know you're going to get Tommy up here later, but and he probably won't say a whole lot. He's a pretty quiet guy.
That's what I hear. We're going to get it out of him.
But we do have to work on his celebration, because he just kind of handed the ball to the ref and jogged off like it was just another day. But just proud of him. And he's a guy that was kind of thrown. He's been in the mix all year, but really got thrown into the fire. Once the playoffs got going, and has done a great job for us, and not just on that play, but the whole drive. He was big time for us there.
All right, and then the touchdown happens. It makes it 16-16.
Yeah.
All the pressure goes on old double nickel to put it through the pipes, as he's done so many times, and it didn't blink. In the face of adversity, doesn't blink, kicks it to the moon, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then you got 16 seconds on that clock.
Yeah.
Everybody rushes over to the sidelines. What was the conversation like during those moments?
Well, we were still talking about the situation and just the fact that Poland has a good kicker, and that, they could, if they had a big return, they could theoretically get into a spot where they could take a shot on the sideline and still attempt a long field goal. And he'd already made, I think, 42-yarder there in the first half into the wind, and the wind had kind of died down, so I wasn't really sure how far he was good from at that point. But, again, Luke comes in after hitting the would-be game winner. He comes in and hits about the best squib kick he could possibly hit. And they go down there and cover it down, and then just we're trying to be as relentless as possible on the pass rush there, and got the ball knocked down, which was cool to see. And then after that, it was, all bets were off.
How many times in that last 16 seconds did you look at that clock?
Well, it's funny. I didn't look at it. I'm trying to hopefully get the quarterback on the ground when he's moving around, and I thought, boy, he's been scrambling around for a while. They got to be running out of time here. And I looked up and saw the zeros hit right as the ball fell incomplete, and then after that, it was, again, the whole sideline was going nuts.
I think that was as a broadcaster looking down, essentially from the 50-yard line, there was no celebration. There was a lot of incomplete. You know what I mean? Everybody, they broke up the pass.
Right.
But I don't think it really hit until the sideline kind of stamped it like the game's over.
Yeah, you don't expect the play to last 12 seconds, you know. So I just assumed there was going to be one more bullet that we had to dodge, and then once I saw the zeros, then obviously I think we all saw it about the same time.
One of the best, obviously from a score perspective and from a game perspective for us, one of the best games we've seen all season. You've got to tip your cap to Poland. Coach Pav did a phenomenal job game planning for you guys. It gave you the best punch they possibly could in that scenario. Was there anything that you didn't expect that you saw on Friday night?
I don't know. I think we kind of knew the way the game was going to shape up. We knew they were going to try to slow it down. They were going to try to run the ball and make it hard on us to run the ball, and play great special teams. And they did all of those things. They did everything they had to do. They won the field position battle in the first half, which was equal parts frustrating on our side. And I'm sure, I think impressive. I think it's really hard to keep us pinned down like that. And it's an area that we have to improve prior to this week. This time of year, it's really, your backs are against the wall if you're playing uphill the whole half. And we've got to do a better job of not doing that this week.
So you win the regional championship again, bring it home to South Range. That's one banner, but that's not the one you're after.
No.
You head to the state semis. You play a very familiar opponent in Liberty Center, a team that knows you well. You know them well. There's a lot of talk already online. I was up way too late last night reading through all of it.
Is that you on there?
Well, I wasn't typing. I was reading.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I can do that. I have to convince my wife all the time.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of chatter about Liberty Center is a different team. You've had a few days to look at what they have brought to the table. What do you see when you look at the Tigers?
Yeah, they're a great football team. I mean, this time of year, you're not going to run into a good football team, okay? And that includes us. Every team left, there's 28 teams in the whole state of Ohio still playing out of 720 of them. So everybody that's still got a puncher's chance is a great football team. And, they're a team that's not new to this. They've been around. They've been in these situations. I think they're really similar to what they were last time we played them, just in terms of what they're trying to do on offense and defense and the culture of the program. You can tell their kids play hard. I'm sure, the two communities are more alike than they're different. That stuff usually stands out on film. So they're a great team. It's going to be a great test, but I think our guys are up for the challenge, and I think, it's going to be another wild one.
Do you ever get tired of hearing about the undersizing of your linemen? Do you ever I know you. I know there's a chip on your shoulder this big.
Yeah.
And every time you see or hear something like that fires you up a little bit.
Yeah. I think if you look at our body of work with our line, I think that speaks for itself, and we've been probably smaller than our opponents for the past, 14 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And
7 years.
Yeah, right. And those guys just do a great job. And, Coach Taylor gets them ready to go. And, just because there's so many skill sets that are involved in football and in line play, I think a lot of people fall in love with size. And what we do offensively and what our kids can do offensively, I think matches up really well. And those guys do an incredible job. We've been outsized every week, and they're still blocking people every week. So just a little different way of getting there.
When you look at the future of this program, obviously the size isn't going to be there for the next 7 years. I mean, so you look at this, it's got to be nice. Your son, David, I mean, someone obviously that you want to be part of this program at some point, but if he's not, that's okay too.
Yeah.
Kids like my son looking up to you and saying, hey, I can't wait to be part of Coach Rock's program, the South Range program. What does that mean for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, being in the school now is really cool. I get to go around and see those guys, but I was one of them. I grew up looking at our South Range football players and the coaching staff, like they were my heroes growing up, or some of them. And I just think that, now that I'm in that role, still a little bit different, but I know our guys, really, they don't take it for granted. I think they are very well aware of what they mean to the kids and to the community and take a lot of pride in that.
So when you look at the next 2 weeks, a lot of stress. A lot of stress. We'll take it week by week, but obviously as we get to Friday, it's a little bit wonky because you throw a holiday right in the middle of the week, right the night before the game. What changes for you? I mean, what have you told your guys? How do you stay focused when you've got, obviously when you sit down to eat at a Thanksgiving table, whether it's you, your coaching staff, or the boys, the conversation's going to be centered around that turkey, but the second conversation's going to be, hey, how are we looking tomorrow night? Yeah,
no, it's the best. We've been talking for a number of weeks now just about an attitude of gratitude and being grateful for all the things that we have. And it's ironic that now Thanksgiving's here and we're able to practice on Thanksgiving and be around, 60 of our best friends. And I know a lot of our guys have family coming in from out of town, which is obviously special. So aside from the practice schedule, not a whole lot has changed with us, other than now we got a bunch of Raiders from out of town that get to come in and spend some time with us and hopefully get loud on Friday. All right, so we have to do our annual Thanksgiving draft. Do you remember we did it last year? Yeah, I got all kinds of flack for this, so I gotta pick it up. You gotta step up your game this time. All right, but this time it's gonna be a little bit different. Okay. So this time you have to order it up, whether you're cooking Thanksgiving dinner, whether you're serving Thanksgiving. So the guy that cuts the turkey, I hate that, number one. Or you're cleaning the Thanksgiving dinner up. So 1 to 3, draft them, order them up. One being the one, and I know Julia's listening right now very closely. She snapped that head around. So would you rather cook, would you rather serve, or would you rather clean it up? I would rather clean it up because that would make Julie the happiest. Plus, I don't think I would screw up things. Like, I have a hard time multitasking with that kind of stuff, and I'm not a very good cook. Do you cook anything on the table? For Thanksgiving? Yeah. No. I mean, why is everybody laughing? That's my mother-in-law's laughing. No, I don't. I'm pretty fortunate that everyone else in my family is a good cook. So, but I'll tell you what I do well on Thanksgiving, and that is eat. I'm good at that. Okay, so what's the we're putting our plate together. What's getting the biggest space on the plate? Usually carbs. I like the noodles.
Okay.
I'm a big, butter
Again,
noodles.
he drafts the freaking noodles.
I like noodles.
Number
I
one.
like the eggs, like the deviled eggs and the pickled eggs. I'll have turkey. I'm not a huge turkey guy. I do like it, but
Turkey,
mashed potatoes and
light
gravy.
meat, dark meat.
Light.
Light meat,
Yeah.
okay. And then gravy, or what do you put on top?
Yeah, I'll put gravy on pretty much
Okay.
everything. The eggs, all of it.
Do you have to divide them? Like, can they
No.
touch each other?
Yeah, I don't care.
You don't care.
David
Neither
cares
do I.
about that. Yeah, he wants his stuff like on separate plates altogether, but he can pile it up on there. Yeah.
And then what do you wash it down with on turkey? This is the ultimate. Nobody talks about this. What do you wash? Like, is it milk, water? Is it beer? What is it
No.
on Thanksgiving?
Milk with some things, but I usually have milk with like red sauce. So on Thanksgiving, I usually go with I'll have a pop. Like I'll usually have Pepsi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plug for Pepsi.
Yep. Or Coke.
Checks-
I'm not
No,
either
look.
one. Whoever wants to pay us.
Checks in the mail.
more. Yeah.
Both sides.
Yeah.
And then finally, what are you thankful for this year?
Oh man, so many things. I would start out with my family and my immediate family, my wife and kids, and all of my aunt and uncle are here. My in-laws are, all of them. My mom and dad, my brothers, and then I would just, I guess, double down on that and
see what you did
just
there.
say I'm thankful for the South Range family. Our kids, it's like having 60 little brothers or 60 other children, or I don't know however you want to look at it, but it's a special relationship, and then all their families, it really is a family here. I know we talk about it, every year, but I really think that that this place is special, and the community environment is probably what sets it apart. So I'm thankful for all of them.
He's thankful for all of you, and we certainly are thankful for this guy. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up, Dave Rock.
Thank you.